Ahí estás ahí. Estás con una de las meras atrás tuyo.
One of my favorites. Esta es una favorita mía.
Ella esa es una champion,
sabe.
she's a pioneer,
No
she's...
sabe que esta trabaja mucho, trabaja bien duro para la compañía.
Sí.
Enferma y todo está en la calle. Y eso es una cosa de un corazón bien grande. Una persona que tiene el amable para la persona en la calle. Esta mujer yo le hago todos los favores, sin problema.
Ella no la cambiamos por
Valerie
nada.
is my favorite. ¿Todo bien?
Sí.
That I need. I don't know who the attorney is.
Good morning! Len Shulman, Mercedes Narcisse, for organizing today's hearing for older adults living with HIV. I want to thank SAGE, Housing Works, and other organizations that here that you might move to please down your name. I guess that covers everyone. As I said, my name is Reginald Thomas Brown. My pronouns are they and them. I'm board chair of Open New York, a member of the HIV Planning Council, a member of the Hospice Advisory Board, and the HIV is Not a Crime Collective. In 1986, a doctor told me to get my affairs in order because I would be dead in 2 years. The diagnosis was HIV positive. At that time, an HIV positive diagnosis was certain death. I was living and performing in Athens, Greece, during the height of the AIDS epidemic in New York City, and I did not witness the horror of The Walking Dead. I only heard rumors. Eventually, my spirit whispered to me and said, you know what? There are actually 3 blessings in this diagnosis. The first one is I don't have to worry about getting HIV anymore. The second one taught me the importance of prioritization. This is important, that's not, and it's not negotiable. And the third most important blessing was that whether I have 2 years or 2 weeks, I intend to live until I die.
Yes. That's right.
That diagnosis was 37 years ago this past August. I've had no AIDS-related illnesses and been unable to transmit HIV since 2003. HIV is here to be 2 years longer than I was HIV negative. About 10 years ago, I asked the Creator, why am I still here considering so many people have died? Their response was clear and unambiguous. You need to go out so that people can see you and hear your story. I live my life out loud as an example to people who look like me so that they can see what knowing their status looks like. I will be 72 in January 14th, 2024, and I still have work to do. Stigma is more deadly than HIV. Everyone has a status. Know your status and behave accordingly. I'd like now to call up, let's start with Shay. Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm New York City Council Member Chio Say. I represent the 36th District in Brooklyn, which consists of the great neighborhoods of Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights. Listen, I speak at so many rallies, but it's rare that I get to speak at a rally with my queer family. So I'm so happy to be standing with my people, right? Listen, we celebrate queer identity year after year after year in the city of New York. Yet when it comes to money and reallocation of funds and the amount of profit that our queer community brings into the city, we don't see that trickle down to our communities that are most impacted, right? BIPOC queer folks living with HIV and AIDS, our queer elders, right? We need more oversight, we need more funding to support some of our most vulnerable communities within our city, and also the communities that make New York as beautiful as New York is. So I'm here to advocate, to push in this hearing that we provide this oversight so that every single person standing here today and those who weren't able to make it today receive the support that they truly deserve. I also want to speak about a bill that I'm having that's having a hearing today as well, Intro 825, which will provide data and oversight over the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to make sure that all of these nonprofits that are receiving funding from the city with your taxpayer dollars are doing equitable outreach about PrEP, for
I'm
all
gonna
communities
post over
across
there.
New York
Okay.
City. Not just
Okay.
white communities, but communities where folks are most impacted by HIV and AIDS. You have my support here. Thank you to every single organization that is out here today. Thank you to all my colleagues who organized this hearing as well as this rally. And let's put our money where our mouth is and support the communities that need the support the most. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. I would be remiss if I don't ask us to take a moment to remember those of us whose shoulders we stand on. There are those who were diagnosed when I was diagnosed who aren't here. And we need to remember and bring them. They're now our ancestors. We need to bring them into space because I do what I do because of them. I also would like to lift up those who are in Palestine. That whole thing of genocide is happening in real time. You know, they said the revolution will not be televised or it's being live streamed. It's happening right now. That we're living through this, right? It's very, I even feel worried when they don't know what's happening. That we're standing on ground that was stolen by very people who are perpetuating the same things, the same old fucking story all over again. Stealing other people's land and killing people, right? Okay. With that, I would like to bring up Jan Call Park, please. Would you like to make some remarks?
Hi, I'm Jan Park, and I am 76 years old.
Oh wow.
I've been living with HIV for 38 years.
Oh wow.
I was one of the first 100 people tested for HIV in this city. And at the time, there were no HIV tests available in the U.S. So my blood samples and 99 other people were sent to Paris, France, where they had the HIV test first. And that's when I learned about my HIV status. So what I want to talk about today, and to whom I want to talk to, are you, people living with HIV. So let's talk about your comeback. All the times that you fell and got back up while living with HIV. Let's talk about the lesson, all the hurt that you turned into healing while living with HIV. Let's talk about the version of you that you haven't met yet, and all the versions of you that help you get to where you are now while living with HIV. Let's talk about your survival. All the things that were sent to break you, and you barely flinched while living with HIV. Let's talk about how beautiful it is that the ugliest parts of your story are what taught you grace while living with HIV. Let's talk about all the times that you doubted yourself, how you used the pieces of those moments to build yourself back up and into the most certain thing that you've ever known. You go straight into the chaos and came out holding nothing but peace while living with HIV. You, unbreakable you, strong and fierce and brave. I see
Great job.
Think about that. We're still standing, all this shit that's been thrown at us. We're survivors. We're survivors. Like I said, we owe it to those who aren't here to keep on going. And this is not over, and we're gonna keep fighting. I would like to bring up Tanya, please, to speak. Woo!
Good morning. My name is Tanya Walker. And I stand before you today not just as an individual, but as a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit. 26 years ago, I received a diagnosis that altered the course of my life. I was diagnosed with HIV. And as I reflect on my journey, I can't help but to wonder how much longer I might have carried this burden unknowingly. The catalyst for my testing was a somber one out of curiosity, fueled by the untimely deaths of many of my friends right here in the heart of New York City. Let's face the stark reality together. Recent statistics paint a sobering picture of the rate of HIV infection among older adults in our city, and it's on the rise. It's a silent epidemic thriving in the shadows of more visible health concerns. Today, I bring forth core recommendations to the New York City Council on HIV and aging, not just as a call to action, but as a plea to save lives. First and foremost, we must confront the issue at its roots, enhancing and intensifying efforts to increase HIV testing rates among older adults. And let the numbers speak to you. The rise in infections demands immediate attention. Let's allocate resources, develop targeted prevention campaigns, meticulously designed to meet our unique needs for older adults like me. We must cover crucial topics: HIV testing, PEP and PrEP, condoms, arming our community with knowledge and prevention tools. Our battle extends beyond testing. It encompasses comprehensive well-being of older individuals living with HIV. I call upon the City Council to make a commitment in the upcoming budget to create fund the City Council initiative on HIV and aging. Thank you.
Resources. It's all about the money, children. It's all about the coin. It's all about the coin. We need that money. Yeah, we need that money.
That's why we need cash assistant running Chris.
Okay, all right. Valerie, from Housework.
Yes. Valerie.
Hello and good morning.
Good morning, Valerie.
So you know what? We have the data. We have a plan. Let's end HIV as fast as we can. I've been saying that for 30 years. That's not fast enough, right? So, hi everyone, my name is Valerie Reyes Jimenez. I am the New York City Community Organizer for Housing Work. And I've been living with HIV now for 42 years. I am 58 years old.
Wow.
I never expected to be this age, ever. I expected to be long dead and buried and be dust, right? And when I found out that I was HIV positive, they told me that I wasn't going to see my son turn 2 years old. Guess what?
All right now.
He is 35.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it.
I have a 40-year-old daughter.
Woo!
I have a 21-year-old granddaughter.
All right.
Who is a gift to me, who is fierce, and who has a, she's like the apple that fell off this tree. she is my heart, and something that I never, like, it's beyond my wildest dreams. To be a grandmother, to be called Wella. You know, it's, I'm getting goosebumps. You know, it's like,
Go for it.
you know, and over half of New Yorkers living with HIV are over the age of 50. And you know what, people, I forgot.
Yes.
Here's my superpower for today.
All right.
The same day they told me I was HIV positive, I was shouting it out to the world. And I think that is why I am still here and still alive. And people say you're thriving with HIV. Well, some days I thrive, and some days I feel like a piece of shit.
All right.
You know, so
Keep it real. Keep it real.
this morning I got up, I did what I need to do, and one of the things that I find so mind-boggling, and I didn't realize it until recently, is that the city council is actually for the very first time going to listen and learn about older people living with HIV and AIDS.
That's right.
It's about time.
It's about time.
That's right.
I want to thank Sage. I want to thank Vocal and every other organization that's here this morning. Is there anybody else here this morning from another organization?
Not anything like disco.
Well, you know what? I'm surprised because we have a lot of AIDS service organizations in New York City, and we've been doing this work for over 30 years. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, there are 4 ways to end this virus, to end this epidemic. It's a simple steps. There's 4. Testing, treatment, prevention, and guess what? Housing.
There you go.
Because if you're in the street,
That's right.
how are you going to manage living with HIV?
Don't have it.
It's virtually impossible. So we need housing to be able to receive appropriate medical treatment. And guess what? Every single person on this planet has an HIV status.
That's right. Everybody.
Everybody. So you're either positive or negative.
That's it.
If you're positive, welcome. You can now get early treatment and thrive. If you're negative, congratulations. There are things you can do to remain that way, including taking PrEP and testing annually to maintain your status. I say annually, but if you have other reasons to get tested more than annually, do them.
Go ahead and do it.
Once every 3 months,
Go ahead
right?
and do it.
But HIV testing must become routine.
Must.
And until it is, we will continue to perpetuate stigma.
Yep.
And a lot of that happens by medical professionals. Because guess what? When I walk into the ER or to the clinic, I am still asked, do you want an HIV test? I'm like, no, I already know my status. My granddaughter, who's half black and half Puerto Rican, she rolls into the ER because she's got a peanut allergy, and they'll ask her, do you want an HIV test? But they don't usually say, no, we're gonna test you for this, we're gonna test you. Do you want to get tested for HIV?
Yes.
It's a whisper.
That ain't right.
It's like taboo. But we have to advocate for testing for all, make it a regular thing so that everyone can know their status. It cannot be something that we don't do on a regular basis. You know, I'm going to be giving testimony later, and I have like 6 pages of this. And it's going to be virtually impossible to say what it is that I need to say. But you know what? Older people with HIV are still human beings. We live amongst everyone. We're here. And, you know, I'm going to stop here. I just, you know, I can go on and on. But I'm so grateful to be here with my brothers and my sisters and my friends and my colleagues. And these are my people. You know, these are the people that help me every single day. You know, my team, we're a small team. There's 6 of us. And those people, you know what we do every morning? We check in with each other as people first. And then we talk about work. How was your night? How did you feel? Did you get to eat? How did, you know, what happened last night? So, you know, people first. You know, we're humans. And I'm grateful to be able to be alive. I'm grateful to be pushing 60, which is like, all right. I feel it though. My head, my knees, my feet. So y'all, I had a nosebleed like 2 minutes ago. I was like, what the hell is happening? You know, my body's falling apart. Like, the way aging happens. You know, so anyway, you know what? I'm grateful. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Valerie. But you know what? Everybody has a status. That's simple. Everybody has a status. And behave according to what your status is. As I said before, stigma is more deadly than HIV. Stigma still. This is how many years ago? Stigma is still nasty. Or some of the reasons that Valerie mentioned. If they whisper you doing an AIDS test, what's up? If they whisper you, no. Would you like an HIV test? Just be a secret. And it's up to us to make sure that this does not continue to happen. Now I'd like to welcome Council Member Crystal Hudson, who is responsible for us being here today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Crystal Hudson. I'm chair of the Aging Committee, and I just want to note that it's been almost 20 years since the City Council has had a hearing on this topic, older adults living with HIV. Representation absolutely matters. There are 3 committee chairs that are hosting the hearing today. 2 out of the 3 of us are Black, and 2 out of the 3 of us are LGBTQIA+ identified. And that makes a difference when it comes to having hearings, hosting hearings, and also introducing and passing legislation that impacts our communities. Almost 20% of all new cases are in older adults age 50+ across New York State. It is so incredibly important that we bring light to the fact that older adults are living longer. They're living longer in general, they're living longer with HIV, AIDS, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power as the City Council to talk about the issues and to make sure that our older adults have every resource, service, and care possible provided to them. So thank you all for coming, being out here. Thank you to Vocal, thank you to Sage, thank you to Housing Works, thank you to Councilmember Osei, thank you to all of our community partners for making this possible. I look forward to seeing everybody in the chambers upstairs in just a minute.
In 2018, I attended the U.S. Conference on AIDS. At that time, they said that by 2020, 70% of the people living with HIV would be over 50. But they predicted by 2030, 90% of the people living with HIV would be over 50. 90. 90. That's a lot of folks. I'd like to bring up Albert Wright from Housing Works.
Yes. Hello.
Albert? Oh, okay, sorry. Albert, okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm not going to say good morning because I don't like the morning. I've been mourning for a long time. From all the things I've heard so far, I'm the oldest out of it.
All right.
Age 77 and November.
Wow.
Excuse me if I leave this down here. I'll have to sit down. But all I'm going to say is thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. And I'll say good night. Right? Woo! I think I did it.
Take your time.
I don't come out. In 1998, I found out I had HIV. Oh man, I just I didn't know I knew I was dead, and I wasn't going to die. I was dead. Bellevue, I thank them too, because Bellevue had a hospital, and I don't know if they were the first to put up a board for you're laying in bed and trying to get you well. But I laid up there, and it was a road here and a road on this side. People were dying this way, people were dying that way, and I can't keep going, man. I had to sign myself out because I didn't want to be the next one. But then I met somebody from Housing Works at a rehab. Told me about Housing Works and this and that. And I said, but I'm not going to lie to you now. If first thing I said was, that's a safe place to get high. All I wanted to do was get high. I didn't want to live because AIDS gonna kill me anyway. So anyway, I came back down to Dublin, ended up in Bellevue, got in contact with Housing Works, and I've been living ever since. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't smoked a cigarette in over a year, and I just smoked it since I was 11 years old. And I haven't smoked a cigarette in a year and change. I haven't drank anything. I always said in the past I never had a problem with drugs, but I did. But Housing Works saying, be who you are. Okay. They can teach you everything, a lot of things. People in going to school and all that, they teach you how to grow up, how to do this, how to act that way and this, that way. They can't teach you how to get old. You gotta do that by yourself. And I've been doing that, man. And people like Valerie and Keith Tyler, we have a place called Tyler House that I go to every now and again too. And that, I saw pictures and heard testimony by Valerie and Keith. And I'm so inspired, man. I'm gonna live until I die, like this brother said. And I'm not gonna hold you up because I don't want y'all, I want the next person who's gonna be here to say something better than me.
How about that? Nobody can teach you how to age. That's an individual thing. That's a solo journey. But I mean, you know what? It's a solo journey, but we do it in community with the love of others. I would like to bring up Michael Earp from Sage. All right, Michael.
So it's like 1980, and I'm working in the Broadway theater selling alcohol and candy at the Wiz. Stephanie Mills is singing and tearing my heart out. And a friend at another theater is sick, right? And we go to visit him in the park. And the next week he's not around, right? And it sort of goes down like that for a while. And I find myself all these years later without a lot of my friends, right? And thank goodness GMHC, the 13th Street Gay Center, and now Sage. I go to Sage for meditation. I go to Sage for dinner. My husband goes to Sage to take painting classes, which he loves. He's a painter now. I appreciate New York City and New York State. The ADAP program, New York State, a lot of states don't even have it. So, although I've got a few things to say to the committee later, an idea or two, I appreciate New York City. And wow, you all are wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. I will also be giving my testimony later today. Is Council Member Lynn Sullivan here? All right, then I'd like to bring up Juwan James, Juwan Williams.
I pushed my way onto this speakers list. But my name is Jawanza. I use he, him pronouns. I'm director of organizing at Vocal New York, and I'm also a person living with HIV. I was diagnosed HIV positive in 2013, so I made 10 years living with the virus today. And what I want to bring into the conversation, as I will not be testifying later today for another rally that's going to happen in the same spot at 11 a.m., but there are two parties in our society whose rights are always in peril. They are the small children with the tiny voices, and they are our seniors. We must remain crystal clear and committed to building out a loving, caring, compassionate society that does not ignore our elders, that does not silo their experiences in such a way that renders them invisible. It's violent. I remember in 2020, one of the most violent things beyond this invisible virus that was killing, that killed and is killing millions of people around the world was also the violence, the deadly violence of silence, of loneliness, of not having one's needs met, especially for some of our most vulnerable people, our older people, who are increasingly aging. I want you to remember that when we're talking about older adults living with HIV, that is not just about HIV, as Valerie reminded us. It's about housing. I just heard a story about how much more expensive it is to buy a brush, to comb one's hair, how much more expensive it is to buy food. So when we're talking about HIV, we're talking about a socio-political, economic reality of our people's experiences. So we should be calling on our city council. We should be calling on our mayor, who just announced across the board 5% cuts across the social service agencies in our city. When what we need is an increase. Someone shouted it. We need an increase of cash assistance. We need an increase of food stamps. We need an increase of the housing voucher numbers. We got to make sure that our people are stably housed, and that they have the economic means to take care of themselves, and that they are not rendered invisible, rendered non-people by being ignored. I hope that I'm able to claim 50 years, 70 years living with HIV if there is not cure in that time. And I hope in the work that I do every single day, and I hope the work that I thank you for doing promises safety and security for me in the future. And so to secure that, we have to take care of our people now. So thank you.
All right, I'd like to thank you all for the support. We've heard a lot of things here. You heard a lot of seeds tasting. Marinate on them and use them. Everybody has a status. Learning how to grow old. Remembering us. That we are people. We're people first. We're people. Housing is a human right. Housing is healthcare. Housing is prevention. Without a house, come on. Without a house, that's so basic. I'm not going to get in that. That's another story. But I think this is the end of our rally, unless council members then show up. And that's it. That's the end of the rally. Thank you so much for listening. And let's go out and kick some serious ass. When people with AIDS are under attack, what do we do? When people with AIDS are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When people with AIDS are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When people with AIDS are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When people with AIDS are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When people with AIDS are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Welcome, that's the people's house, right? So if you want to go into City Hall, in the chambers, just come on down, we'll stand in line, and when they let us in, we'll go in. Just know we're going to be going through metal detectors, so if you got anything that, y'all know that you're...
And before we all scatter, there's also going to be an action here at 11 about those budget cuts that you heard Yolanda mention.
That's fine. If you don't have the time or anything, housing works.